Perfect day for sailing here on the east coast of Florida. A nice breeze, perfect temperature, and we've also got some baseball. Mr. Met, he's always ready, and the fans lining up to see their Metsies play, maybe get a couple of autographs. But before the game, we've got your drills. Henry Mejia, tough day yesterday. He's going to work on that, and he's doing so. Base running has been paramount in this camp. Mets hoping to exhibit all those tools this afternoon. Mets baseball on SNY this afternoon, presented by Citi, as the Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals here at Tradition Field in Port St. Lucie. Well, we were excited today for what would be a terrific pitching matchup. Some alterations to that, though. Thanks for joining to the broadcast today, along with my partners Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Guys, we thought that Zach Wheeler was going to make his first spring start today, and that was something to look for. Little change in plans because Zach was taking batting practice earlier, felt a little tweak, and to be cautious, he is scratched from today's start, a right oblique strain, which the Mets are calling it, so he will not start today. Darren Gorski will start. And Keith, you know, it's just a shame. He pitched really well in his 2 innings, his debut on Saturday, and Mets fans eager to see him. They'll have to wait.
Well, he made a big splash in his first appearance on the opening day here at the ballpark here. What a shame. From a organizational standpoint, he's a young kid. We got a longer spring training because of the WBC. He's got time to heal. But from a personal standpoint, from Wheeler's standpoint, it's his first spring training. He's here to impress. Got a chance. They're going to give him a look, and he has an oblique. And obliques are a slow recovery, so they're going to have to be very careful with him. His future's in front of him, but it's a big setback for him. He's got to be feeling down.
No, he did not seem too worried before the game talking about it. Said it was more of a precaution thing, but it's got to be some concern, Ronnie. When you think about opportunities here in camp, the Mets have talked all about their young pitching, but, you know, there's a lot of question marks now. We know Johan Santana's trying to work back to be healthy. And a lot of young pitchers, if they're not healthy, they haven't really stepped up just yet.
Yeah, I think so. When you see yesterday, you were talking about Mejia before, and we were talking about him having a tough start yesterday. But I think the big thing for Wheeler, though, he represents such a big part of the future for this Mets. So you wanted to see him all during spring training to really see what he could do. Yeah. Sometimes his teammates seeing what he could do for the first time. Familia has not had a great spring training coming out of the blocks. Like you said, Santana's not coming out. So the pitching, which was really a strength, is going to have to pick it up.
So Wheeler will have to wait a couple more days, say it's not serious. Darren Gorski will get the call today. The Seagulls really don't care who's pitching. We've got baseball on SNY, Cardinals and the Mets. First pitch coming up in a moment.
Only
York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Citi. Citi cardholders have exclusive access to buy Mets single game tickets at Mets.com/Citi presale. That's tonight until midnight. By Toyota. Buy a Toyota right now and save big. To learn more, visit Toyota.com. And by WB Mason. Subscribe to MLB.TV Premium today. Watch over 150 select spring training games live, plus every regular season game live or on demand on over 250 mobile and connected devices. Visit Mets.com for all the details. Citi checking in around the majors. Josh Hamilton, talking about looking strange in another uniform. Angels uniform, hitless in his debut yesterday. Tim Lincecum beat up. He wasn't worried afterwards, though. And Bobby Valentine, who thought he did a heck of a job as a Red Sox manager, introduced as Sacred Heart Athletic Director. Well, we thought it was going to be Zach Wheeler. Instead, it's going to be 25-year-old Darren Gorski, who gets center stage here at Port St. Lucie this afternoon against the Cardinals. His first pitch coming up after we look at a couple of cool shots from spring training. Harvey and David Wright and his Mets getting set for some baseball this afternoon. Let's check out the Cardinals starting lineup brought to you by Toyota. This is actually pretty close to what their opening day lineup will look like. There's a couple players missing, but the middle of their lineup is just so loaded. They're missing Alan Craig, their terrific first baseman. But they brought the all-star lineup to Port St. Lucie this afternoon.
Well, we mentioned it a couple of hundred times in the open. Darren Gorski, of course, getting the start. Zach Wheeler out. Darren Gorski coming into camp had a chance to win one of those left-handed specialist jobs, and we'll do it here in the first inning and try to impress.
And we'll take a look at the Lexus Metropolitan defense. And you'll see Tejada last year with those starts. You're looking for him to add on those starts this year, getting a little stronger in spring training. Marlon Byrd fighting for a spot in right. Matt Dendecker getting the start in center, the young player with a lot of talent. Ike Davis had a bomb the other day. Nice comment on that, Ron. He was a rocket. Turner at second, Wright at third. and Buck behind the plate. There's Ruben.
Well, that's notable that Todd is back in there because, Ronnie, we had the game the other day, and he injured himself in conditioning. Maybe the Mets shouldn't do any activity before games. That's the note here. But he's back in there 2 days later, so that's good news.
Well, there's Matt Dendecker, who had a really good season last year in Double-A. Got called up to Triple-A, and he struggled offensively. He's really a fine talent. I like. Strikes out a lot, but he can go get him in center field. And with Citi Field and that big, spacious ballpark there, you're going to need a center fielder, particularly with Lucas Duda out in the left.
And so John Jay will lead it off for the Cardinals. He's their normal leadoff hitter against Darren Gorski getting the start today. And he starts him off with first pitch strike. And then Decker, Keith, had that ridiculous robbing catch of Anthony Rendon of a home run the other day. He can certainly go get it out there.
This young man, John Jay, very underrated. 373 on base percentage last year. He had to go into that leadoff position after Rafael Furcal got hurt.
He's got a peculiar swing, and he can go the other way. He only hit 4 home runs last year. Look at that uniform. Now, the Cardinal uniform this year, it's hard to notice, but their birds on the bat are a little bit larger than they've been in the past. That's one change in their uniforms going into this 2013 season.
Gorski's got a 1-2 to start the game. Chance for Tejada, and there's one away. How do you know that? Did you measure?
I have my sources in the Cardinal camp. They're also not going to wear the navy blue hats on the road this year. They're only going to wear their navy blue hats when they play teams with red uniforms. Cincinnati, Phillies. They're going back to the red on the road, which I don't particularly care for. I love the navy blue hats.
I think it looks good, too. So what Zach Wheeler's injury has done is taken away the Zach Wheeler-Carlos Beltran matchup, which would have been juicy for Mets fans. Of course, those two traded for each other. So instead, it's Gorski dealing to Beltran, who had a good year his first year with the Cardinals despite a tough second half.
32 home runs, 97 RBI. Stole 13 bases. There's Mike Matheny. He's a second-year skipper now with the Cardinals. Cut through his rookie year in fine fashion.
Well, I think what would have been real good test. Sorry, Kevin, I jumped in on you there. Is that Wheeler could have pitched today. Look at the lineup the Cardinals have brought today. You usually don't see that on the road, but they're close by in Jupiter, which is about 45 minutes to 4 hours, depending on the traffic. And but Jay and Beltran, Holiday, Freese, Molina, all playing today.
Well, before the game, Ray Ramirez took the initiative to introduce Zach Wheeler to Carlos Beltran, just to kind of meet them so the historical facts could be put down. Wheeler mentioned that before when he was talking about his oblique. As a 3-1. Chance for Bird in right. And he makes the play 2 down. Well, that trade that Sandy Alderson made, you can make an argument it's Alderson's legacy here as a Met general manager. I mean, it's one of those that could be humongous for this franchise. And you see what Wheeler did last year, certainly terrific as he kept ascending. And then Beltran was huge and had another great playoff in the NLDS against the Nationals as well.
Well, the Mets really wanted Wheeler, and the Giants were reluctant to give him up, and Sandy Alderson stuck to his guns and got his man.
Gorski will face Matt Holliday. It's ball 1. Finish up the thought on Wheeler. Just talking before, he said it wasn't, and maybe this is good news. He said it wasn't like he was hitting today and he felt it on one swing. It was more like, Keith, when he got done hitting, it felt tight, and of course the Mets wanted to be ultra cautious. So he did not seem worried about the injury. Meanwhile, Gorski mowing through the Cardinals lineup in the first. He sets the Birds down 1, 2, 3. Good inning for Darren Gorski. Mets come to the plate, face Lance Lynn. Let's check the Mets lineup today, brought to you by Geico. And, talking about the Cardinals, how they have so many names that could be in the opening day lineup. There's a lot of names here that could be in the Mets opening day lineup as well. Baxter in the leadoff spot. Bird gets another shot in right field to try and win that job. And Duda back in there today after taking a couple days off to work on a swing on the backfields.
Well, Lance Lynn, he had a strong season last year with 18 wins, 11 in the first half, 7 in the second half. But after the season was done, they asked him, he needs to work a little bit on his fitness. He's lost 20 to 25 pounds. He looks fantastic.
And so Lynn was an 18-game winner last year. Will face Mike Baxter to lead things off. And Baxter takes strike one. Well, Lynn at 25 years old was a first-time All-Star, was terrific. 11-4 with a 3.41 ERA in the first half of last year. Slowed down some in the second half. Did win 7 more games, but had an ERA of 4.32. And then ended up late in the bullpen a little bit before the season ended.
And we'll take a look at the Cardinal defense presented by Ford. You can see Mr. Craig at first base. Descalzo was their starting second baseman last year. Kozma had a nice little postseason late when Furcal went down. But Furcal with the sore elbow, they're hoping that he's healthy and he'll be their shortstop when the season gets up and running.
And Baxter down on strikes for the first out. So one down, that'll bring up Ruben Tejada. Now Tejada, just before our game the other day, was scratched in conditioning. He felt something in his right quad, which was cause for concern because last year he missed 44 games with a quad injury. So there was certainly some worry, but Tejada said it was no big deal, and apparently it's not because he only missed the 2 games and he's back in there today. So the right quad, that cramp, all gone. For the Mets shortstop, with a home run off Steven Strasburg, his first spring at bat on Saturday. Daniel Murphy, he is getting close, as he said to us, Keith, before the game. He is also very thirsty. But he had that injection in his intercostal muscle, that rib muscle. Oh, this goes under the glove of Kozma. That looked like it was giving an easy play for Kozma. Just slipped under there. Just to finish the thought on Murphy, though, he said he's close. He's not swinging a bat yet, but he feels like in the next couple days.
Well, Ruben's first at bat on Saturday, a 2-run home run. His first at bat coming back from a little cramp. A big base hit up the middle.
Good sign. Hit the ball hard, so Mets have their first hit. They'll bring up David Wright.
David, of course, is going to. There's no date set on the marriage, but he is engaged. And signed, of course, the big contract in the offseason. Never have I seen a player having in such a Cadillac seat for negotiating leverage as David Wright over the offseason. He just had all the chips.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because Michael Weiner was here from Players Association, and he usually does a little media briefing. And he said that he thought in a way Wright could have gotten more money if he waited for the free agent market, that he did take somewhat of a hometown discount, although let's be real, $138 million is plenty of money. But, David has said from day one, Keith, that this is where he wanted to be. So you're right.
You know what? How much is enough? And with today's dollars, you get pressure as a player, Kevin, because one of the great things the late Marvin Miller negotiated. Nice base hit by David, bullet up the middle. One of the great things that Marvin negotiated with the owners, and we'll take a look at the swing, and I'll get back to Marvin. And that's what we like to see, is David going up the middle, has that power to the right center field. Marvin, we never were able in my day early to know what the other players made. It was one of the great things that Marvin negotiated was he made the players could get that information. So, I could go on for me it was Steve Garvey in my day. So you get pressure from the union to keep up in the ante, but now the dollars are so high. I mean, what are you going to do, price everybody out? I don't know.
Well, with respect to the union, though, that's always a one-way conversation. You'll never hear someone come out and say a certain player's making too much money. So
when I signed with the Mets, George Foster was the highest paid player.
Right.
And George was making $10 million on a 5-year deal, and I signed an 8.6 for 5. And I got it a little bit with a little unhappiness from the union. They thought I could have got more, but I wasn't going to. It wasn't important to me to be making $10 million, and at that point, 8.6 for 5 years was a lot of money.
Yeah,
I can't complain.
You know, it's interesting on that note. Reading an article today on CBS Sports, Zach Greinke was talking to John Heyman. And, you know, look, anytime a player signs these big deals, as Ike takes a good rip, but launches it foul, broke his bat, too. Yeah, of course, with David, it was so different because he said from the get-go, I want to be here, and I think he genuinely felt that. But Greinke said, his quote was, I could play for the worst team if they paid the most. He said the worst comment in the world has to be when a guy who's getting $100 million says, I had to take care of my family. He said it's more than enough to play for his family.
The second worst comment now, after that
one. Yeah. Tell you what, he wasn't pulling any punches. Greinke's with the Dodgers now.
Greinke doesn't speak often, but when he does.
He lit up the notebook apparently that day. That was about as blatantly honest as you can get. Meanwhile, Lynn's got 1 and 2 to Davis. Mets have a rally in the first with first and second.
Boy, Ronnie, you're right. Lynn has lost a lot of weight. I remember him being a big horse out there.
And it's good to see. Working harder after a big season. He burst on the scene when the Cardinals won their 11th championship in 2011. He was outstanding out of that bullpen when the Cardinals could not get any innings out of their starting pitching.
2-2 to Ike. Freeze will give it a look. And he's got it for the second out.
You know, getting back to Lynn, Ronnie, in today's game where, you know, the pitchers aren't getting complete games, and he won 18 ball games last year. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of wins.
17 as a starter, just one when he went in the bullpen for about 6 or 7 appearances. So I think they felt, honestly, even though he was struggling, Kevin and Keith, they wanted to put him in the bullpen to give him a rest.
Yes.
Because that was the first time he had been extended that far.
And you notice the Cardinals are in their road red hats this year. That's the change. We talked about that. And not the navy blue road hats.
There's a lot of red in the crowd. There usually is. Ronnie mentioned that short drive from Jupiter to Port St. Lucie. Marlon Byrd with an RBI opportunity here in the home first.
Marlon's got a nice swing. Little fire plug kind of body. Stocky. And he's got a nice stroke. Low ball hitter. A little leg kick. And he goes the other way there. He's naturally. He stays in. So, you know, he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's getting a big opportunity here. It's just a matter of how much he's got left in the tank.
He's got a football player's body. We found Gary. Gary said he was going to hide today, but that's too wide open for director Bill Webb. Gary is back. He'll be back on the call the next game.
Oh.
Except apparently he had the garlic fries for lunch.
Gary's very popular.
It's kind of like Where's Waldo on the days he's here not working.
He's a gamer, though. Not on the air, but he's still checking it out.
Always. Bird gets jammed. But anyway, Bird's got that football body. He actually went to Georgia Tech on a football scholarship. So,
Kevin, his problem was he was one of the best running backs out of high school. But once he stopped playing football, kind of beefed up. He got well over 300 pounds at one point, and he had to kind of get his conditioning back for the sport of baseball. Whenever I try to give a scouting report on Marlon, I always feel he's a better breaking ball hitter. They throw a lot of fastballs to him inside, but he's a good changeup and breaking ball hitter.
He's a lot like all the young hitters today, that they're all basically low ball hitters, which makes them breaking ball hitters too. And there he pounded him in, Ronnie.
As a scouting report by Ron said, Bird goes down on strikes. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Lynn. That looks really nice right about now. Bill Webb at the controls as it sails along the Atlantic Ocean.
We've got a cold front coming in over the weekend. A good one. It's going to get chilly, and so enjoy it while you can here.
Chilly, what, like 62?
Well, it's going to get down into the low 40s. It's going to be cold. It's going to be a good-sized front.
I don't think I'd pack the proper attire for the low 40s down here. I have to go add on to the wardrobe. David Freese is the batter as we start the second here at Tradition Field. Scoreless Mets and Cardinals. So David Freese posted this on his Twitter account this morning. Mets have good arms, a little refreshing knowing Dickey, though, nowhere near that lineup card. No knuckleball today or anytime this year facing the Mets.
Well, the books not closed on that one. We'll see what happens.
Freese will be the answer to the trivia question, right? Last year on June 1st, the last player to strike out against Santana, and that no-hitter was Freese.
I forgot we at our SNY baseball meeting, we rewatched some of that game, and I forgot that Santana was behind him 3-0 in that at bat.
3-0 threw a fastball down the middle that David Freese took, and then 2 changeups to get him.
3-1. And that's low ball 4. So the first base runner to reach against Darren Gorski, and that'll bring up Yadier Molina.
Now batting number 4, catcher Yadier Molina.
Well, Yadier Molina is a freak of nature. Somehow, at the most demanding position in the game, he keeps getting better and better offensively every year. And if he's not the best catcher in the game, he's certainly top 2.
For a catcher, he stole 12 bags last year, too. Only caught 3 times. 22 home runs. Came up in the power department. 76 RBI. Isn't it nice to see these offensive numbers coming back down to normalcy? Excuse me. 22 home runs, 76 RBIs. You see 22 home runs, 197 million RBIs.
To be able to hit 315 and be, I think, the best defensive catcher by far in Major League Baseball is just he's an amazing guy to watch, and he's a leader and a guy who takes charge. Fantastic player.
Doesn't strike out. Struck out only 55 times last year. And that's because with 2 strikes, he goes up the middle. He has that ability naturally to go to the opposite field. He's a very smart hitter. He hits a situational hitter. He's just really, really a very fine player.
It's going to cost him double, though, this year. The assistant hitting coach for the Cardinals is Benji Molina, his brother. So he's making the most iron. He's the one paying.
Is it a 1-2 hole here? It's pretty amazing, though. I mean, he's 30 years old. He's going to be 31 over the summer. I mean, just go back a couple years ago, 2010. He had 262 that year. 6 home runs, and with all he brings defensively, honestly, who cares? And then what does he do 2 years ago? 305, 14 home runs, and then last year 315, 22 home runs. How do you get better?
I know, he is getting better.
How is that possible at that position at age 30? But he's doing it.
I think he's matched. A lot of these young catchers, so much is put on their plate defensively that sometimes their offense lags behind, and then occasionally you have a great talent like Molina that they come together in an explosion of their offensive and defensive talents, and they become that player for who knows how long, but the last 2 years have been outstanding.
Your point is interesting, though. Do you think that there is something to it? So many guys always have to work on defense, and not that he doesn't work on defense, he does, but is there something that that part of it comes so naturally to him that maybe the offense isn't as much as a burden maybe to other catchers?
I think growing up in a family where your 2 older brothers are catchers and being able to pick up the phone anytime you want and ask them, how do I handle a pitcher who's been on me about what I'm calling is great.
Bird calls and catches. Freeze back to first. Well, Darren Gorski in a game in a day where he didn't know he was going to make a start. He was supposed to pitch today. He's come out looking quite sharp, the 25-year-old out of Kutztown University. Matt Adams, the DH, will hit now. Gorski, the 7th round pick for the Mets in 2009. And here's what the Mets really like about him. And when you look at this bullpen, and certainly there are wide open competitions, and the Mets are looking for a lefty specialist to come out and get lefties out. Well, last year he held lefties to a .219 batting average, and more so than that, overall on his year, Gorski gave up 20 home runs last year, but only one of them to a lefty batter. So it is a strength for him.
This kid right here for the Cardinals, this Matt Adams, I think he's got a chance to be a good one. He's had some really terrific minor league years. Hits with power. There's just nowhere to play him. He's a first baseman. And, you know, Alan Craig has that laid position all to his own, and they're trying to see if he can get into second base a little bit. But he has got a nice swing. Double-A in 2011, hit 32 home runs, 101 RBI, and hit 300. A big, strong kid.
Keith, do they still play their Double-A games in Little Rock?
No, they've been long gone. Their Double-A now they're in the Texas League still. Looks like Springfield, Illinois, and they're in Memphis, which is believe it or not, the Pacific Coast League.
Wow, that's some travel. You know, Adams, the Cardinals are playing him at second base this spring, trying to get him a depth there to get that offense in the lineup. And the reports there are, there you go. This is the offense, man.
He can rip.
That's a bullet, and David Freese will go on to third. So first and third for the Cardinals, one down here in the second.
And this is against a left-hander, too. So he stays in, ball out over the plate and down, and rips it. They're going to have to find a spot for this kid.
Yeah, to finish the thought, Keith. Yeah, they're playing him at second. Say he's done okay there. I mean, second base right now, you know, Daniel Descalso is the other guy there. Descalso, terrific with the glove, but if they want offense, Adams is going to be the guy as long as he can handle it.
They tried Kelton Wong there, but Adams will certainly be the biggest second baseman there's ever been.
Yeah. And this is a Cardinal team that was second in offense last year, second in runs, first in on-base percentage. So it would just be another bat in that lineup.
Ty Wigginton now. And he takes ball one. Well, Ronnie, you touched on it. John Mabry is the hitting coach. Benji Molina now the assistant hitting coach. So the Cardinals have had two. But the big news, Mark McGwire is no longer here. He went out to L.A. to join Don Mattingly.
He's with the Dodgers. That's where Mark lives. He's from that area, so easier commute for him.
So what changes then when you have, you know, Mark go out to L.A. Is because they have such good players, and you have Mabry who's been here, does the system kind of remain the same?
I think it helps, right, Keith, having a guy that was there. So, you know, hitters don't want too much to change, especially when you have a team of full of talented hitters. You know, it's when you have 9 guys who can't hit. Then you see what kind of hitting coach you have.
Now, the coach has got to just, if you're a new coach and you come from out of the organization, you got to get familiar with your players. When you come from within the organization, you've seen almost all the guys on the big league level, probably on the minor league level too. Certainly, it helps.
2-1 to Ty Wigginton. And there's a strike. And this team could hit, man. They could hit and they could score. As you see John Mabry, the tallest guy right there with the sunglasses on the hat. He's the new hitting coach.
One of the guys not in the lineup here today who had a fantastic year, Alan Craig.
Turner will call and catch for the second out. Yeah, Alan Craig just took over first base with Pujols and just raked all year long. He's actually hitting right now, Craig, but he has a little bit of a shoulder thing. He's not throwing yet. So that's why he's not in the games yet.
It's like the sort of. Oh, gosh. You can't make this stuff up.
That looks like Rex Ryan to me, or the other Ryan brother.
Rob Ryan?
Rob Ryan.
See what happens to you when you root for the Mets for decades?
So 2 down, runners at the corners, and here is the aforementioned Daniel Descalso. You know, the Cardinals, they just seem to find a way. And here's Descalso, who was, you know, a really Tony La Russa's defensive replacement, and a guy that can play second, can play third. And what does he do against the Nationals in the NLDS? He drives in 6. He hits .316, had big hits in that series.
He's a Bay Area kid. San Francisco area.
You know, you have a lot of organizations that complain during the course of the season. 2011, they lose Wainwright in spring training, they go out and win the World Championship. Last year, they didn't have Chris Carpenter the entire year, almost the entire year. Pujols signs a free agency, they get to the National League Championship Series. Just a winning group.
And consider really what an incredible year last year was. I mean, the Cardinals lost, if not the best, obviously one of the best offensive players of the game in Pujols. And then that man, Mike Matheny, who had never managed, anywhere in his life, takes over for a legend in Tony La Russa and very coolly and calmly brings them. They're up 3-1 in that series against the Giants on the brink of the World Series. I mean, I don't know that anything could go any more smooth than that. It was tremendous by Mike Matheny, what he was able to do and come in and keep this machine running.
It's just amazing what the Giants accomplished in the playoffs last year, isn't it? It's just incredible.
They won 6 elimination games.
Unbelievable. Cincinnati takes them 2 straight in their backyard, and they go on and take 3.
They stick Lincecum in the bullpen. He becomes one of their biggest strengths.
Yep.
Zito in Game 5, it just brings out the old magic. Turner will make this play, and Gorski out of the inning. So 2 innings, pretty good work from Darren Gorski. Keeps the Cardinals off the board. Middle of 2. Bottom of the second inning, Lucas Duda will lead it off for the Mets. Scoreless game, Mets and the Cards. And, well, Duda had made the news a couple days ago because Mets essentially shut him down from games for 2 days as Lynn misses with ball 1. And, Terry Collins said that Duda needed more work, so he took more BP. He went on the backfields and hit, 100 balls at a time from Ricky Bonas, who was throwing relatively hard, just trying to get more swings from a guy who didn't do much this offseason because he broke his wrist moving his couch. And Duda's had a rough start, 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts, and he's got an entirely new swing, Keith. It's a real interesting thing. I mean, Duda's trying to find his footing, and he's totally changed what he's done.
I don't think it's an entirely new swing, Kev. I don't agree in making radical changes to major league hitters. And there's a base hit ball. That'll get him going.
That's got to feel good.
They're working on his take back, Lucas's take back, to get the back, to get a little more less movement going back, so they can get to square up the bat to the ball. I don't feel that you want to make radical changes to major league hitters, and because Lucas right now is, is a little fragile.
he's looking to make his way. You don't want him thinking and clouding his head right now. So I don't agree on radical changes.
Well, that's got to feel good for Duda nonetheless, just to get a hit, get on base, and we'll watch him today as Justin Turner bats. And we're joined by our first guest down in the Mets dugout. It's Corey Mazzoni, who is the Mets' second-round pick in 2011 out of NC State. And Corey, up in the booth, it's Kevin and Keith and Ronnie, and congratulations to a great start so far. 3 scoreless innings yesterday. You've got 5 scoreless to start off camp. Feel good just kind of get going and have a positive start like you have?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's early in the season. I think most of us were just working on fastball command. I mean, this will go a while here for the season, so that's the main thing right now.
Beltran in the corner makes the grab. Duda tagging alertly, and he'll get on down to second. Now, Corey, you were at NC State, and did you play for Tom Holliday, pitching coach down there?
Yeah, he was my pitching coach all 3 years there. So,
and Tom is Matt Holliday's father, of course. So tell me what it was like to play for him, and did you have any contact with Matt during the time? You're getting absolutely blasted by seeds right now.
Yeah, it was good. Matt never came to the stadium while I was there, but I mean, his dad's a great coach and a great person, and I learned a lot while I was there.
What did you learn?
I mean, he just brings a lot of major league experience to me, and I just picked a lot from him.
John Buck, the batter, drives one to right. Beltran looking up, and it's a line drive home run for John Buck. Man, that got out of here in a hurry. And the Mets are up on the board. First 2-run shot, John Buck, his first as a Met.
Well, almost like that home run he hit last year opening day against off Pelfrey. He has good power to the opposite field.
That got out in a hurry, that's for sure. So the Mets up 2-0 on the 2-run shot by John Buck. We talked to Corey Mazzoni down in the Mets dugout. Meanwhile, Matt Decker at the plate. Corey, Mets fans have heard your name, but haven't seen, much of you in terms of what you can do. So why don't you describe yourself? What is a good Corey Mazzoni day? Tell me what the scouting report is of yourself.
I mean, I think I just like to work off my fastball. That's how I've always pitched. I mean, I like to go after hitters with first pitch fastballs. I mean, I throw a slider and a splitters, but I mainly work off my fastball.
There's also been a feel around here that if you have a chance to contribute this team as a bullpen member. Are you focusing on either starter or bullpen right now? I mean, what is your mindset in terms of what your near future is going to be? I know you've been starting in the minors.
Yeah, I mean, I pitched a lot of bullpen in college, so I will know about that. But right now, I've been working out as a starter. That's been my first full season last year. I was a starter, so I'm just being prepared for both.
Corey, this is Ron Darling. What was your off-season like? You must have heard some of the noise that this was going to give you an opportunity here in spring to try to make this ball club. Did you change your workouts at all, or did you do the same thing you always have?
Yeah, I just did what I've always done, just keep the same approach and just treat it like any other year.
We look at Mike Baxter with 2 down. Bases empty after John Buck's home run, and Baxter grounds it to short. Cosmo will take care of him. Corey, we thank you for the time. Certainly best of luck the rest of the way this spring.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
Corey Mazzoni's had a good spring so far. John Buck, 2-run home run. Mets in front of the Cards, 2-zip. Well, get to Citi Field Sunday, March 17th for the inaugural Metropolitan Lacrosse Classic. Visit Mets.com/lacrosse. Call 718-507-TIXX for all your tickets. As we look at Carlos Torres warming up with a pen. So John Buck with a 2-run home run for the Mets, get them on the board, and we start the third with Pete Kozma facing Darren Gorski. If you just tuned in, Gorski getting the spot start today. He was supposed to pitch, but Zach Wheeler was the scheduled starter. Had a mild right oblique strain, taking swings today, so being cautious. Mets nixed the start, but Wheeler did not think that it was serious at all, talking right before the game. But Gorski's done well. 1 walk, he's allowed 1 hit so far. And this will be his last inning. Michael Wacha, hard thrower, as in Fozzie Bear, Waka Waka, warming up for the Cards. And Gorski issues a leadoff walk. His second.
Well, we saw this happen with Colin McHugh a couple days ago. Gets into that 3rd inning, the ball starts getting up in the strike zone. It's not really tired is not the right word. You don't feel like you get your good fastball, so you try to turn it up a notch. And at this time of the year, there's no notch to turn up.
John Jay grounded out to short his first time. That one falls in front of Duda. So the Cardinals have 2 on to start the third.
And that's what Jay is able to do. He just kind of slices that ball into left field. He's not a power guy. The leadoff spot, runs well, plays a good center field. He's a table setter. A lot of movement.
That'll bring up Beltran, who elicits a few boos from the crowd. Cardinals fans are clapping. He flew out to Marlon Byrd his first time up.
That 1 year Carlos hit the 40-plus home runs for the Mets. That was one of the finest single offensive years, I think, of any Met player in the history of the Mets. That was some kind of year Carlos had.
That's a good question, Keith. When you were traded to the Mets in '83, Mets and the Cardinals shared Al Lang.
Right.
Were you booed the next year in spring training when you played the Cardinals?
Not the next season.
The season after that?
The season after that.
It's interesting that it would take a full season.
Well, a lot of stuff went down.
I got you.
Google it.
I got you. Some work on the backfields. Going from drill to drill. Those are the minor leaguers step camp. The full squad of minor leaguers for the Mets. Pitchers and catchers report on March 2nd. So got about 50 guys in there right now. Beltran gets into one deep to left center. Oh, and almost another terrific play by Dendecker. He can't hang on. Kozma's already scored. Here comes the throw to the plate. Jay scores. 2-run double for Beltran, and we're tied at 2.
Well, you've got to keep the ball down on Carlos Beltran when he's hitting from the right side of the plate. He loves that ball belt high up. Beautiful swing. Almost a terrific catch by Dendecker. He had it. It just popped out of his glove.
He can really play center field. Saw him last year a lot, and now a great catch 2 days ago and almost a catch there.
I mean, off the bat, I didn't think he was going to get to that ball. Did you?
No.
Pretty good base running by the backside runner there, John Jay. He was on the other side of second base on that play. He had plenty of time to tag up and run around, touch second base again, and get back to first. The ball drops, he scores.
Well, Dendecker, his defense is not the question. So someone wrote the other day, I don't remember who it was, maybe it was Dave Lennon, a scout, saying that Dendecker has gold glove ability in center. And here's an idea why. Here's the play from Monday night. Anthony Rendon at the plate.
Very nice. He robbed him.
What you don't see is him sprinting. That's a great reaction, too. Him sprinting back to get to that point. He just seems to really have a good awareness of that outfield wall. Holliday takes a strike. Meanwhile, we talking to Corey Mazzoni, mentioned Tom Holliday, who's Matt Holliday's dad, who was the pitching coach at NC State. Tom was also the pitching coach and also the head coach at Oklahoma State for a while, where Matt's from, in Stillwater. There's Mazzoni. And Matt's brother Josh is now running the program at Oklahoma State. Just got that job. So Matt actually has a house with his family back in Stillwater. He spent a lot of the offseason back in Oklahoma. And I said, well, that must be a great recruiting tool. What are you doing? You calling people? I said, it's subtle. Like, when I know there's a big recruit coming in, I just happen to be hitting in the cage that day. So it's the whole Holliday crew. His brother Josh also played at Oklahoma State, so it's a real homecoming for the Holliday family there. Three-1. And that's inside, and Gorski's starting to lose it a little bit here, and Terry Collins sees that. That'll be the end for Darren Gorski. Ran into some trouble here in the third, and we're going to see Carlos Torres come on in relief. So Gorski's outing is done. After the Beltran double, we're tied at 2 here at Tradition Field.
I once wanted
This side work going on before the game. Pitching coach Dan Worthen with LaTroy Hawkins and then Bobby Parnell. Now watch his feet. Ronnie, what's Bobby doing here?
Well, they're really marking where he wants to land. You make a point there, so if you are landing right or left of that, you're out of whack. So you want to hit that spot every single time. The first person I saw do that that religiously was all about that was Greg Maddux. Always wanted to land on the same spot. So he could have, they have the most impeccable control I've ever seen.
Yeah, worked for him. Meanwhile, Carlos Torres, so what he did last year with the Rockies, he's the new pitcher for the Mets. Darren Gorski, 2+ could not get it out this inning. Couple base hits, 2 walks, so he's out of there for Torres. He's facing David Freese. We had a pinch runner on first base. Matt Holliday already lifted Shane Robinson in a run for him now.
Holliday's at exit 110, heading south right now.
Exactly. So Beltran on second with a double. There's Robinson. You mentioned that 40-minute drive. Yeah. Holliday's already at the Hobie Sound exit. 2-0 on the way, and that misses. Now it's 3-0 to David Freese. It's funny, Mike Matheny was addressing reporters before the game, and someone said, man, you got a loaded roster here. I mean, not only a lot of the starters, but a packed house. He said, well, it's a short ride. We brought a lot of our starters, and the other guys aren't having a spot day. They're coming. You got no choice.
Spa day. That's for the starting pitchers. No offense, Ron.
So true. So true. I have no comeback for that.
I mean, there's always a downside when you're once every 5th day because you have a bad outing and you got 4 days to wait for the next time for the redeemer. And if you're an everyday player, you can run out there the next day. But I tell you what, it's nice to have you go out and throw a little 3-hit shut piece and have 4 days off.
Tell me about it. They've got some talented youngsters, too. The St. Louis Cardinals have a young player named Oscar Taveras, outfielder, in 124 games last year, 23 bombs and 94 runs batted in. They think he could be one of the next stars in this game.
Meanwhile, 3-2 to David Freese. And it's in the dirt, gets by Buck. Ball 4, bases loaded.
John didn't get too much movement there to get in front of that ball, did he? Have another look at this wild pitch. It's going to be a wild pitch, but not much, no footwork at all. Backhand by Buck. So that's the improper fundies right there. My first fundy of the year.
So now Molina with the bases loaded. Cardinals have tied this game at 2 on the Carlos Beltran double. John Buck has a 2-run home run for the Mets, his first in a Met uniform. Darren Gorski ran out of gas here in the 3rd, and now it's Carlos Torres trying to put out the fire. Bird's going to get there and can't make the play. He will have a play at second base, though, because Freese had to hold up. That was a strange one. Bird came in, couldn't make it. Obviously, Freese had to hold, so he's thrown out at second.
Now, I have a scoring question here. This is from your scorer. The runner's not going to score. He's halfway down the line. Even though it's a fielder's choice, you give an RBI or it's an error?
No RBI.
The error, because he wouldn't have scored if he made the catch. So fielder's choice in the error.
Okay.
I don't even think it's an error. It's a 9-6.
Right.
Fielder's choice out.
Right.
No RBI.
Right. That makes sense to me.
We'll have to text Mr. Cohn.
So Freese retired. And the Cardinals add a run and take a 3-2 lead. Now it's Adams who hit a rope single his first time up.
Well, I think you were right, Keith. Right? They got to give him an error only because he allowed the run to score. He would have held the runners. It would have been bases loaded with 1 out.
Right, there it is. There's an E up there.
Okay.
Big cut. Our producer Greg Pickard made the comparison, said Adams kind of takes his cuts like Matt Stairs a little bit. I could definitely see that. The earlier version of Matt Stairs.
Can he skate as well, though? That's the key.
I don't know about that. Stairs is pretty adept at hockey. And it's 1-2.
You can see they made a correction, Kev, so I'm keeping it as an error and not an RBI. The least, it's not an RBI and a fielder's choice.
Well, 100% not an RBI. Bird looked like he had a beat on it all along. 1-2.
Nice play. Nice play by Wigington in the on-deck circle, one-handed and souvenir to a fan.
Adams hits another one right on the nose, and that'll bring home another Cardinal run. That's an RBI single from Matt Adams. And it's 4-2 St. Louis.
Well, I Nice swing again. That's a good angle right here. Those lefties like that low ball, don't they, Ronnie?
Yep.
We'll find a spot for that young man.
That'll bring up Wigginton, who is making his tour throughout Major League Baseball. You know, he's available every year, and he's always such a good guy to have on your team. And the Cardinals just scoop him up. Wright has to hop, try to make the turn on Wigginton. Turner hangs in there and does so. 5-4-3 double play, and the inning is over. But the Cardinals put up a 4 spot. They now lead it 4-2. Weekdays at 6, Chris Carlin, Adam Shine bring you live reports on the Mets and Yanks straight from camp. Plus up-to-the-minute news on all the latest in New York sports on Loudmouth. Weeknights at 6, only on SNY. We go to the home third, 4-2 Cardinals on the 4th spot. Hey, there we are. Hi, everybody. Posing for the camera.
I'm busy trying to find out Michael Walker, guys.
He strikes out a lot of people, I can tell you that. Last year was his first pro year. He had 40 strikeouts and 21 innings. The scouting report is he throws hard, so we will see.
It's amazing. These kids from college now are drafted a year later. They're contending, right, for a spot.
That he is. First rounder from Texas A&M for the Cardinals last year.
And that is primarily the reason, Ronnie. When we were young, it was they'd like to draft out of high school. Get you when you're 18. So, of course, you're not going to be ready 18, 19. The good ones are ready at 20. But when you're in college, you're coming up 20, 21. And really, college is almost like a AAA, isn't it? What do you think?
I don't think it's AAA. I think it's more like A-ball.
A-ball at the highest level?
At the highest level, A-ball, maybe AA. I don't think it's AAA.
Okay. That's interesting.
Now, I didn't play major college baseball, so I don't know what Arizona State and those teams, Miami team play, but it's hard for me to think they could play AAA baseball consistently.
Ooh.
Tejada goes down on strikes. So good start for Waka. And there's one down here in the third.
You know, they have, we saw late in the season last year, guys, Shelby Miller, who's has a little aches and pains here starting out in spring training, but he's a great talent for this Cardinal team. So they've got some great arms coming up. Talked about Oscar Tavares and his talent. They're still well stocked in the minor leagues.
Cardinals always have a good farm system.
David Wright takes strike one. Well, they're hoping Shelby Miller can be their 5th starter right now. I mean, he showed you some flashes late last year, and they're hoping he could get back to the mound this weekend. Here's the Cardinals starting rotation. as it stands right now. Wainwright really came on late last year after recovering from Tommy John. He had a slow start. But there's a couple things, first of all. Jaime Garcia, when he's healthy, is good. Westbrook had a pretty good year last year, and then Lynn, we saw today. A couple things. First of all, it's amazing to me that Kyle Loesch is still on the open market. How is that even possible? The price was a little too high for the Cardinals, but it's going to be March, guys, and he's not signed.
Yep. You know, one of the guys that's not shown there is Joe Kelly. He's a potential starter for. He was in 24 games last year. Started 16, was 5-7. So he can be thrown in the mix. But really, you're right. The 22-year-old Shelby Miller is who they would like to come forward. And 29 and 21 as a minor leaguer, a hard thrower.
2-2 to right. And he's got himself another base hit. So David Wright 2 for 2 today. I'll bring up Ike Davis. You know, on the Cardinals staff, I mean, you're talking about Loesch. He was 30 and 11 the last 2 years for them. I mean, this is a guy that really pitched extremely well. Sour note, I guess, going out. He had a rough Game 7 against the Giants last year in that NLCS. And, then the other guy that's not on that list is Chris Carpenter. Unfortunately for Carpenter, it looks like he's about to miss 2013 with more shoulder and neck issues, what they call thoracic outlet syndrome. Led to a whole bunch of things for Carpenter, and he's certainly had his injury problems in his career, but boy, when he's been healthy, he's been an absolute terrific pitcher, especially in the postseason.
Well, don't forget, Toronto Blue Jays, he had those injuries, kind of gave up on him, and the Cardinals took a chance by signing him to a 2-year contract while he was hurt, worked himself back into the greatness that he showed as a pitcher, and boy, did some great things for this organization.
I think the Cardinals maxed out on Carpenter. This could be career-ending for him, this injury. Don't forget that big important game he pitched against the Phillies when he beat the Phillies up against Roy Halladay.
That was unbelievable.
1-0.
You did that game, right?
Yeah, and ended with Ryan Howard tearing his Achilles. Could never get down to first base. It was the most surreal thing I've ever seen. A team celebrating and a young man on the ground, not able to move.
And speaking of the Phillies, they've made some moves to help themselves, but they've got some question marks. You got to wonder if Howard can come back. Chase Utley, the Michael Young's 35 over at third.
Shane Robinson in the game for Matt Holliday in left. Makes the play for the second out. And the Phillies window is definitely now, Keith. You're right. I mean, if there's any positive, Utley is playing spring games already, which that hasn't happened in a couple years. We've got outfield questions, too. I mean, they got Ben Revere from Minnesota, which helps. He's a good player, terrific defensively. But other than that, they signed Delman Young. They're still waiting on Dominic Brown. I mean, do you think he could develop into a player?
I think he's got a chance if he develops, gets a little bit stronger.
And the chance for Robinson, and that will end the inning. So the Mets strand right. We've played 3 in Port St. Lucie. Cardinals up in front 4-2. Calling Baywatch. Calling Baywatch. See a nice breeze blowing.
That might be down in Keith's area. Then Jupiter, they got those fancy little boxes for the lifesaver.
Yeah,
the lifeguards.
I haven't seen that around these parts. I tell you, our camera folks go to all angles to show you the beautiful scenics here in Florida. It's getting actually dark now. It kind of looks like rain, so hopefully that holds off. Carlos Torres will begin his first full inning of work. First pitch to Descalso, and he's taken care of by Tejada. So one pitch and one away as Torres in relief of Darren Gorski, who was kind enough to throw on the headset downstairs. Darren, it's Kevin and Ronnie and Keith upstairs. And first of all, for you, just tell us about how this day went. You knew you were going to pitch today, but I guess you didn't really know you were going to start, huh?
No, I didn't. I was actually out shagging BP, and they let me know I was going to be starting this one. So I had to get in here and get my preparation done to start this one.
So how much changed for you? I mean, did you have enough time to kind of get ready for it?
Oh, yeah, there was plenty of time to get ready for it. Actually, it was probably about the time I'd show up at the ballpark on the day I was normally starting.
Cosma has a base hit as we talk to Darren Gorski. Well, Darren, you cruised through the first couple innings and then just ran into a little rough spot. What is that feeling like early in spring when you're it's early, you're still going? Is it a fatigue thing, or is it just kind of you lose a little of the feel there?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's so much a fatigue thing. I just lost a little fastball command, and falling behind guys, you're going to make it tough getting yourself out of an inning like that. So it was basically just my fastball command went away.
We saw you as a starter today, but you've got an opportunity in spring training here. The Mets are looking for one or a couple of left-handers to come out of that bullpen. How do you feel about having those chances?
It's definitely exciting. Being my first big league camp and having an opportunity like that is very exciting. So you like to go out there and pitch well every time you go out. But it's still early, so trying to make some adjustments on certain things and get myself ready for the season.
Meanwhile, John Jay is an RBI double. Cardinals had a run. It's now 5-2 they lead. We talked to Darren Gorski, who started today, went 2+ for the Mets. Darren, there are a lot of pitchers in this camp, and there are a lot of openings, quite honestly, for this Mets pen. What is your daily routine like in terms of working in with everyone else, and how do you do it so, quite frankly, you get noticed?
Just going out there and doing things the right way, being professional. It's not too hard following guys in this clubhouse because these guys play the game the right way. Everybody plays hard, so you just go out there and you try to get your business done professionally and get your work in, whatever you need, and get ready to pitch on days you're supposed to be out there.
Beltran is the batter for the Cards. He had a 2-run double his last time up. Darren, what's your normal routine once you get to the games? Once the games start and you're going to be pitching every couple of days, do you get on a mound other than games? What's your work like here now in spring training now that the games have begun?
Yeah, days in between, you're going to get on the mound at some point and throw a bit of a side or a touch and feel, whatever guys like to do. So you do get a little extra mound time in between just to kind of get things moving here because, like you said, it is spring training. It is still early, so you're still trying to get the feel for everything, get the feel of the mound and everything. So it's good to get off there as much as you can.
What do you like to do?
What I like to do, I like to get a side in between, and here and there, get off the mound a little bit and just kind of feel the mechanics, dry. No ball, no catcher. Just get out there and kind of feel your body working again in your mechanics.
It's such a catch-22, isn't it, Darren? You know that you have a 1-2 count on a guy. You can get him out with your good breaking pitch, but really in spring training, especially early, you want to work on your fastball command. So I guess that's the hard part, isn't it? It's you want to impress, but at the same time, you want to be ready to go in April with your best stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And you're hoping that at this point, the hitters are still fresh, just starting to see guys. So you're hoping at this point maybe they'll be a little late on that fastball, or be able to sneak it by them. But like you said, that's the biggest thing is trying to get the fastball command, get everything going. And then, start mixing that stuff in a little bit later when we're getting closer to the season.
Beltran walked, by the way. Adrian Chambers now runs, and the Cardinals are going, testing Buck's arm. Little low throw, right scooped it out, but called a double steal for the Cards. Jay was the front man.
Well, Cardinals being very aggressive early here. Double steal, third base. The throws there. They got him.
Adrian Chambers.
That was more of a surprise factor there, wasn't it? You just don't think a lot of times in spring training that's going to happen, double steal, but good job by the Cardinals.
So the Cardinals have second and third with Shane Robinson getting his first at bat. He pinch ran for Matt Holliday in the last inning, and it takes strike one from Carlos Torres. 5-2 Cards here in the fourth as we talk to Darren Gorski. Darren, so you go to Kutztown University, and the Mets found you out there. Describe to the folks what is give me a normal day in the life of Kutztown University. Most people don't know where it is. Now we know it's in Pennsylvania, but give us a little flavor here. Put Kutztown on the map.
Well, probably on your way into class, you're gonna run into a horse and buggy at some point.
Really?
Yeah. So you might want to leave a few minutes early because you might have some time you need to make up. Other than that, I mean, it's just a quiet, small town, a lot of fields, a lot of farms, stuff like that.
Horse and buggy, like Amish country? Is that what you're saying? Oh, wow.
Well, actually, I grew up more in Amish country, but there's still a few horse and buggies up the Kutztown way. So, definitely gonna see a lot of that, a lot of farmland, but just kind of a small town feel. Actually, the town was probably built around the college up there because that's about all that's there. But a nice place to go to school, and I enjoyed my time there for sure.
So give me at the town intersection, you've got like a horse and buggy and a Dodge Ram, something like that.
Yeah, probably something like that. That's usually what you can expect to see.
0-2 here, and Robinson punches one foul as he stays alive against Carlos Torres. Well, Darren, before we let you go, let me just, what is your mindset now going forward? Ronnie said there's opportunities here, especially in the bullpen. How do you approach the rest of this camp under Terry Collins?
Just trying to get myself ready. Today I saw that fastball command still needs a little bit of work, and get the breaking ball in the first strike. So just trying to prepare myself for every time I go out there, and maybe catch somebody's eye while I'm out there throwing, and see where we can go from there.
Just misses inside. Well, Darren, thanks so much for the time today. Best of luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you soon.
Of course, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Darren.
Yeah.
Nice getting to know Darren.
Yeah, what's interesting about Darren is he's got a good live fastball. As advertised, he came as a guy who didn't throw overly hard, but he did in the game today.
Well, he has become a big candidate in that lefty specialist role, and there's a lot of options here. I mean, it certainly seems that Josh Edgin would be a shoo-in to make the team. And I think if Pedro Feliciano were healthy, as we take a look at some of these candidates, he would probably have a leg up because of his track record here, but he's not. He's wearing a heart monitor for 2 weeks, and we're uncertain about Pedro. Scott Rice has looked good so far. Yep. He's never been in the major leagues, been in baseball for quite some time, but Gorski is he's on the undercard trying to push his way up. That's for sure. And that track record against lefties in the minors certainly helps him. There's Zach Wheeler, and Wheeler was supposed to start today. 3-2 to Robinson. Supposed to start today, but in taking some swings, his right oblique tightened up. The Mets are calling it a mild oblique strain, so to be cautious, they kept him out. He seems to think he'll make his next start, but we'll see. He did not let on in any way that it was serious, so hopefully that's the case. Wheeler an observer. 3-2 outside, gets by Buck. Buck gets a good bounce, and Torres makes the tag.
Boy, I tell you, a poor slide by Jay. He could have got hurt on that. Fortunate for the Mets here. Ball gets by Buck. The ball came right back to him. Nice feed.
That was awkward.
I tell you, he can get hurt. You're either going to knock him down or you're going to slide. And speaking of knocking people down, there's been some thought about ruling catchers blocking the plate, making it illegal. I don't know how they're going to enforce that.
Well, I think Matheny was talking about, Mike Matheny, the manager, was talking about not allowing runners to run into catchers anymore. I mean, that's what he was talking about.
That is an interesting topic in many, many ways. Ooh, line shot by Freed, and that'll bring home another run. Cardinals offense keeps pouring it on. It's now 6-2.
Well, this ball's ripped. Not a bad pitch down. Look how he just stayed right in. That's just good hitting right there. But back to the blocking of the plate, Kev, Ron. Okay, so you're not supposed to knock a catcher over, so what, the catcher can just stand on home plate and block the plate?
Well, I mean,
come on.
The whole thing about the game is you're not allowed to block any of the other bases when you think about it, right? And home plate is the one that traditionally is the place where catchers use offensively to block people from scoring. It's interesting that Mike Matheny has come out and is going to talk to Joe Torre about it. Bruce Bochy, of course, he saw his catcher Buster Posey get plowed over and get seriously injured. Are both guys that are against it, as we see a block by Carlos Torres. Runners at first and second. He faked the throw to first base. Ike Davis, not even close. David Wright will come in and try to settle down the right-hander. What happens in spring training is you have a lot of plays that are called for pickoffs, but certainly not in that circumstance, and just locked up there was Carlos Torres.
Cardinals put 4 on the board in the third. They've got 2 runs home here in the fourth, 2 down. Now 2 more in scoring position for Yadier Molina, who reached on the fielder's choice. It was actually a drop in right field by Marlon Byrd. Yeah, it's, coming from Mike Matheny, this is a guy who's a terrific catcher for the Cardinals. And this is where this all stems from. This play a couple years ago, Scott Cousins crushing Buster Posey and taking him out for the year. And, yeah, it's just gruesome to look at, that replay again. But that's what started this. When Posey came back last year, the Giants, he is so important to them, they were not going to put him in that position again. And, for Matheny, it's especially interesting because his career was ended because of really post-concussion syndrome. He got in plenty of concussions. He was a great catcher.
Well, I think, if there ever was a time for decisions like that to be made, we're talking about the NFL trying to cut down on head injuries. The NHL has had a rash of concussions. They're trying to do some things to stop some of that. So all of the major sports aware of head injuries.
Oh boy, Molina just pounds one down the left field line. 2 runs will score here. Yadier Molina will trot into second with a 2-run double, and the Cardinals on fire.
Well, you're trying to make a ball club. This is a tough outing right here for the veteran Carlos Torres. He's getting lit up pretty good here.
Well, the only way to really explain it when you look at Carlos Torres' throw is I'd say everything he throws is almost the same speed. He's got a hard slider, a hard fastball, but nothing change of pace to get the hitters off those 2 pitches.
I just see kind of it's early, but I see a lazy breaking ball.
So now Matt Adams, who is 2 for 2 and hit 2 rockets, RBI single as well. Good looking hitter. By the way, I believe I misspoke earlier. I talked about Matt Adams trying at second. That was Matt Carpenter. It's another Matt. I want to correct myself on that.
Oh, I started that ball rolling. I confused the two. So I'm at fault.
Well, I did the same thing when I was doing my notes last night. I knew I was going to do it today, so my apologies.
Matt Carpenter playing.
Oh, this kid can rip it. Jeez. This guy hasn't hit a loud foul. Nothing but. He's strong.
When you have a beard like that, I think you should be a power hitter. That just says power hitter.
It's Paul Bunyan-like, right?
Torres is trying to stop the bleeding now.
To finish up on the Matheny thing about running at the catchers, it plays such a small part in today's game. You don't have a lot of headhunters going out there to hit catchers. If catchers don't want to be hit, give the runners a piece of the plate to slide to. And if you do, it'll never happen to you.
Hey, keep the mask on there. Keep that big hockey goalie helmet they got on. Keep it on.
And Adams down on strike, so the inning comes to a close, but not before 4 more Cardinal runs out in front by 6 of the Mets. sights this spring. Zach Wheeler, pre-strained oblique. Terry's always laughing or yelling or doing something. The guys getting out for a drill. Spring ball here at Tradition Field this afternoon. Cloud cover, some rain in the forecast. Cardinals offense, though, has been omnipresent. Boy, they have just exploded. 4 runs each the last 2 innings. 8-2, they lead the Mets. As Lucas Duda will lead off the home 4th. I'll tell you what, Michael Wacha, Cardinals #1 draft pick from Texas A&M last year, pitched 1 inning. That 1 inning was pretty good, Ronnie. Well, what he can do here.
You know, we always talk about, or the scouts talk about, arm slot. You're not going to see many young pitchers come to the big leagues throwing almost straight over the top, Jim Palmer-like almost. Good changeup and enough gas to get it by you.
And Duda goes down.
Nice sequence of pitches. Got you looking for the changeup and paint away, Keith.
And he's got a good changeup, good sink action. He throws hard.
So here's Turner, flew out to right his first time up. Turner had some really interesting splits last year. I mean, he was .295 against right-handers, but hit only .241 against lefties. Where he excelled was in the clutch department with runners in scoring position. Turner batted .293 with 13 RBIs.
Well, 2 years ago with the injuries, and he was really going to be the backup middle infielder. Got a lot of playing time, got a chance to show what he can do. He hit clutch that year with a lot of playing time. Last year really accepted his role as a backup player. And this guy's got good stuff. Hounding the right-handers in. Fastball in, slider away. What does he come back with? Heater in.
Oh boy.
Well, he's got 3 strikeouts in the 5 outs he's recorded.
This changeup though, huh, Keith?
Yeah, it's almost like a splitter where it drops out. The bottom drops out of it.
So here's Buck, who's got the Mets offense with a 2-run home run. His only at bat of the game. First home run as a Met. How about the tempo from Wacha, man?
Yes. As an everyday player, you love that. You love pitchers that work fast like this.
Scalzo makes the play at second, and Michael Wacha, extremely impressive in his 2 innings of work. Robert Carson time. We come back. Well, at spring training, you practice everything, including getting in a rundown, trying to execute if you're the Mets. Let's see how they do here.
That's good. You'll take it. Okay, one throw, right? Two throws.
Tejada made the tag.
You know what the tough part of that drill is? If you're the scrub that's got to be in the rundown.
Scrubini?
That's running. That is murderous when it's hot in Florida. It's the last thing you want to do. And remember in the minor leagues? Ronnie?
Yeah.
On the spring training? Everybody had to do it.
A lot of the pitchers got the helmets on. They don't even know how to run the bases. They have them running from home to first. They leave early. Doesn't even replicate what it's like in a game.
Robert Carson's second spring appearance facing Ty Wigginton starts him off with the ball. Wigginton destroyed the Mets last year. 3 home runs and 35 at-bats, 15 RBIs as a member of the Phillies, hit 400 against them. I started to say his last time, he's always out there, and he's always a good acquisition by whoever picks him up. And, you know, we were talking about the thing in home plate, the catchers and not blocking the play, what Matheny said. I mean, this is the one guy that really you don't want in a home plate collision. He did it to Josh Thole last year. And Thole was out with a concussion. Right makes the play to retire Wigginton here.
You know, he's a little bit like the human bowling ball, isn't he? But to your point, Kevin, he's always been considered a gamer, great guy off the bench, and can play a number of positions.
Descalso's 0 for 2, a couple of ground outs tonight. Carson in his appearance on Monday night actually allowed 4 hits in 1 inning, but got out of a bases loaded jam, so allowed just the 1 run. He showed some good things to the Mets later last year in his second stint, his second call-up, but he's certainly in that mix for the left-handed reliever's role. But you would think right now the Mets would like to send him down to get him a little more seasoning, but plenty of spring to impress.
This is a camp. If you, excuse me, if you're a reliever, boy, oh boy, it's a camp you want to be in. You got a shot to make the ball club. There's a lot of spots available.
Off the heels, but right to right. Well, that worked out well. Hopefully Carson's okay. Ramirez may come out and check. New York Mets baseball on SNY brought to you by Citi. Citi cardholders have exclusive access to buy Mets single game tickets at Mets.com/Citi presale tonight until midnight. Buy Time Warner Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better. TV, internet, and home phone from Time Warner Cable. And by Xerox, ready for real business. Now the concern is on Carson. It was a hard shot. Thought it got him off the heel.
Got him good. This one hurt.
Oh, no, it didn't.
A little calf action.
Calf or the side of the leg. That one was smart.
But Keith, to your point about if you're in this camp as a reliever, if the pitching coach comes to you and says, hey, Robert, can you go to Orlando against the Braves? Do you feel up to it? I'm going. I mean, it doesn't matter what they say.
Exactly.
You want to be on every trip, have a chance to pitch in as many games as you can.
To your point, probably why he's not coming out of the game right here.
That's right.
It doesn't matter how bad it hurts, right?
Right. Definitely want to find some dirt and rub it on it. Make it feel better.
Pete Kozma, the batter, with 2 down against Carson, who will throw it pretty hard. Mets 14th rounder, 07, out of Hattiesburg High School in Mississippi. Brett Favre's hometown, Hattiesburg?
Not sure.
No, he was from Kiel, isn't he?
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Peter Kozma came up 26 games at the end of last year. Rafael Furcal went down. They needed a shortstop. They tried Descalso and others there. Brought this young guy up from AAA and caught fire. And other than a few defensive miscues in the postseason, hit pretty well too. Had some clutch hits.
Carson has him 1-2.
But all the backfields are empty. There's no one working out in the backfields. It's unusual to see.
Oh, it looks like a little rain. A little rain coming down now. We're anticipating the weather.
Well, it's supposed to get cold here this weekend, so real cold fronts coming in. I mean, why wouldn't it? The weather all over the Midwest has just been awful the last few days. It's still winter.
2-2. And he caught the corner. Good inning for Robert Carson. He sets the Cardinals down 1-2-3 after absorbing that shot off the calf. Home fifth inning, and the Cardinals in front of the Mets 8-2. Third inning of work for the impressive Michael Wacha, 21-year-old, first-round draft pick by the Cards last year. He's been outstanding. 3 strikeouts in his 2 innings. Den Decker here. And, guys, it looks like he's pitched forever. I mean, he's from everything, just the look of him right now.
Yeah, he's got, he walks like he's a #1 pick. He throws, strikes, aggressive. And he's got 3 quality pitches. We've seen the fastball and the changeup mostly, but he threw an awfully good breaking ball to Justin Turner that just missed. So, well-polished pitcher at this stage of his career. I also forgot one other alteration in the Cardinal uniforms this year. They're going to do it this year on, I think, either Saturday or Sunday at home. They're going to have St. Louis scripted across the birds instead of Cardinals.
Really?
Yeah. Oh boy, this is like go 1, 2, 3, go sit down. This kid's got some impressive stuff. That's the breaking ball. Oh Lord have mercy.
That's his third best pitch.
Umpires having a little talk here. Wonder what that's about.
It's not raining hard enough, guys. Come on. What's this?
I know what that's signed by the home plate umpire.
I think the shot clock needed to be reset. What was that? I really don't know what that was. I'm not sure what the signal was there. Mike Baxter takes a strike.
Boy, a guy like this with this kind of stuff, we just got to look for a fastball. If you get a fastball, you just got to cover it. Can't let him get ahead of you with the way he's pitching today. This is really some pretty awesome stuff.
Just missed.
So what's he feature now? Fastball away running. Is he going to try to paint Baxter in, or that good changeup?
And he's ready before the hitter's ready. He's ready to go.
Change. Oh boy,
this is impressive. 5 strikeouts now in 2 2/3 innings of work from Michael Wacha. Get a complete recap of tonight's Mets-Cardinals Grapefruit League game, plus up-to-the-minute news, opinion, and exclusive video straight from Camps on Mets blog, presented by Verizon, part of the SNY.TV blog network. By the way, should mention we saw in that shot that it's our old buddy Rob Johnson is doing the catching now for the Cardinals, so Yadier Molina's day is done. Now Tejada. Tap to third. Long throw in time. Nicely done to Descalso. Ultra impressive from Michael Wacha. 3 shutout innings. Well, spring training is all about getting the drills in. They've got the pop-up machine ready to go.
Right. Always fun. Casey Kochman stays away from those machines now in spring training. So this just gives the coaches a break. They don't have fungos now. They got machines for that. So I got a text. The sign that the umpire was signaling around his head.
What was that?
Was to put the lights on. Gary Cohen texted me.
That's awesome. So, I had no idea.
Oh, Gary just said it too. I see it right here.
There you go. It's Justin Christian freshly in the game, and he's got himself a base hit.
Line drives all over the joint here by the Cardinals.
They're really hitting, aren't they, today?
Very upset. Gary knows everything. How come? Being prepared, maybe it's the and maybe some bad weather games in Durham.
Yes,
in the day.
Now batting number 56, right fielder.
Well, the lights are coming on now. The clouds have been like this for a while. It's kind of light raining. Nothing heavy. Hopefully it'll stay that way. Second inning of work, by the way, for Robert Carson. This is the first at bat for Adrian Chambers. Came on to run for Matt Holliday.
There they are. Nice play.
Good hop. Turner will turn in the easy 2, even with the speed of Adrian Chambers. Omar Quintanilla turned that one nicely.
You know, it's pretty interesting when you watch this Cardinal team is that Chambers is going to be a guy maybe come off the bench or be an extra outfielder, hits a bullet, and the hustle down to first base almost beat it.
Shane Robinson will get his second at bat. Edward Mujica. Norman will see him next after the outstanding work from Waka in his 3 innings. Carson deals a strike. Well, Carson having a good outing despite getting drilled in the leg by that line drive. Robinson deep left, and it's carrying as well, and it is going to go. Shane Robinson with a home run. The Cardinals just hitting everything in sight. It's 9-2 St. Louis. Everybody in the Cardinals lineup is hitting today, guys.
That ball did not get in enough. Belt high. And the wind really, with the weather coming in, has turned around. It was blowing out to right earlier in the game, now blowing out to left.
Robinson took advantage of it. But Carson lets up a home run. Colton Wong now, who will get his first at bat of the game. Came in last half, play second. They moved to Scalzo to third. This is a guy that many feel is the future of second base for the Cards. First round pick out of Hawaii for the Cardinals in 2011. What he did last year in Double-A Springfield, batted .287, 23 doubles, 6 triples, 52 RBIs, 21 steals. Pretty impressive, this Cardinal team. They just keep churning out talent. I mean, you look at their offseason, they didn't go out and sign anybody of note. They're losing Kyle Loesch. We told you about Carpenter going out.
They haven't lost Loesch yet because he's still out there.
He's still out there. I guess they could bring him back. They lose Skip Schumacher, who was a real solid player to the Dodgers. He can play just about anywhere, but they keep churning out guys. And guys who are either ready or close. Three and 2 to Wong. Duda will take care of that one, and the inning is over. But Cardinals add another, the Shane Robinson home run, and control 9-2 over the Mets. Jonas Schwartz, Joe Beningo will have a recap of today's Mets-Cardinals matchup, plus exclusive Mets player and coach interviews straight from Port St. Lucie. It's on Daily News Live, presented by Citi. Weekdays at 5 only on SNY. 9-2 Cardinal lead. Bottom of the 6th we go. David Wright will get his third at bat. He's got 2 for 2 with 2 singles, facing Edward Mujica, the veteran who, Keith, boy, he went over to St. Louis after a bad start in Florida. It was terrific.
Well, he was getting torched in Florida, and gave him a new life. He did a terrific job for the Cardinals there. Sometimes a change of pace, change of atmosphere can work wonders.
A good back end of the bullpen. Mujica got hot, and then Mitchell Boggs and Motto led the league in save. It's a good trio back there.
It's always good to go from a last place team. Strike 3 called there. A last place team to a contender.
Burke is warming. We see him. The sidearmer will come on in next. And if you haven't seen him, Mets fans, he's fun to watch. One person the Mets fans have seen the last couple of games on SNY is Matt Dendecker, who joins us now from the Mets dugout. Matt, it's Kevin and Keith and Ronnie upstairs, and well, we got to go back to the catch the other night first. That was something else. That ball is hit by Rendon. Is that right off the bat? Are you sensing, okay, this is a possible over the wall ball? Tell me from right off the bat what you're thinking there.
Right off the bat, he hit it high. I thought it was going to be just a fly ball to the track, and the wind was blowing out a little bit. So I knew it was going to carry, and it kept going and going. And I got close to the wall and heard him yelling wall, so I had to do something, so I jumped and caught it.
Matt, last year, every year is a learning experience. You started out in double A, and you tore it up, and then got a little bit of a stumbling block in Triple A. What did you work on in the offseason? What are your goals offensively at the plate?
I did play well in the first half, and when I got up to the AAA, I maybe tried to do too much, and this offseason just didn't want to try to change too much, because I know my swing was it was good at some points in last year, and I wanted to find out where when I was going good, how I was what I was doing and what I was doing right. So I worked on that, and got a lot of swings in, came down early, and started working down here in Port St. Lucie, and my offensive game for me has been up and down since I signed, so I'm just trying to find something that's consistent and stick with that.
Matt, you said, watching film and things and finding what you're doing right. So what do you find when you're going right? What do you see? What have you seen?
When I'm going good, I'm really attacking the fastballs, whether it's early or late in the count. And, when I do that, I tend to see the other pitches well, off speed, and balls down in the dirt, and fastballs up. I have a tendency to chase. So when I'm locked into the fastball, I can see those better, and I'm trying to work on that this spring, and I'm still early, but I'll get in there and work on some of those things.
Ike Davis draws a walk, and Zach Lutz comes on a pinch run for Davis. So Ike's day is officially done, and Marlon Byrd at the plate now, trying to get the Mets going. That'll help. Gets by Descalso, and the Mets have first and second with 1 down. As we talk to Matt Dendecker, Matt, we've been showing during the game just different highlights of drills, pop-up drills, base running drills, things like that. One thing you don't and you can't practice in spring is the way you play center field. I mean, how do you go about trying to practice the diving catch in center, the sliding catch that you and we saw Neuenhuis do a bunch last year in the major league level? How do you guys practice something like that?
I think for us, we're just, we're athletes, and we've been out in the outfield for a while, and it kind of comes natural for us. We work on not so much diving, but reading balls and going and getting balls. They challenge us with balls in the gap, and seeing how far we can go to get balls. So that's what we do, and what we work on out early, and I think that helps out a lot for us.
Matt, were you always an outfielder and even a second? Every good defensive player I've ever seen has had a big influence early in their career on going and getting it. Did you have someone that helped you defensively when you were a kid?
I started in the outfield high school, I think, maybe 8th grade. I pitched a little bit and played first base, kind of where all lefties can play. But I've always enjoyed the outfield. As a kid, playing, it's kind of football, I like to go in the front yard and play football, just running down passes and stuff. It's kind of like that in the outfield. Kind of get a read and go get it, kind of like a football receiver would do.
Is it refreshing for you not to have to wear clogs this year?
Yeah, it is. They weren't the most comfortable things to be wearing on road trips, so I'm glad I'm not doing that again.
For those who don't know, the rookie hazing for Matt last year had to wear of course, the Dutch had to wear the clogs on the road trips on the bus. That had to be rough on the feet, Matt.
Yeah, I put some soles in there to make it a little more comfortable.
Orthotics and clogs? I didn't know that could happen. Well, Matt, listen, pleasure watching you play so far. Best of luck this spring, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, guys.
Matt Den-Decker joining us. And he talked about it, trying to get the consistency offensively. We've seen defense, that's for sure. Yeah, we know he could do that part of it. Just find the offensive game on an everyday level. When he does, he'll be in the big leagues, that's for sure.
Well, consistency, but being able to max out on the things he can do. He runs well, so I'm sure at some point he'd like to get a half dozen to 10 bunt base hits a year.
Right at Descalso, who retires Turner, and the inning is over. Mets leave 2. We're through 6 in Port St. Lucie. Cardinals up big. And he wreaked havoc on our area, left many local youth baseball and softball leagues with no place to play. This year, SNY reaching out with the SNY Play Bowl Award, offering 6 $5,000 grants to local leagues in need of help. To apply, visit facebook.com/SNY today. Top of the 7th, and this will be fun. Greg Burke comes on. We'll get to see his side-arming ways.
It's always interesting to watch Greg Burke throw. He was over the top, of course, and has now gone to sidearm, and just so much movement.
Right to Quintanilla as Rob Johnson grounds out 6-3. But right, we watched him on Monday night get into a game and pitch, and the one thing that strikes you for a sidearmer, he throws pretty hard. I think he got it up to 92 on Monday.
Throws hard, has lots of movement, and has a little funkiness to his delivery. Kind of looks like he's going to be a kind of a normal over-the-top pitcher until he drops that head straight to the ground, which brings his arm down.
Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, warming up Michael Blazek. See him next. The 1 inning of work by Mojica. Burke dealing a strike to Matt Adams. We talked about the other night, Burke was, coming to the point of a plateau for his career, and he needed something. And Rick Peterson, of course, the former Mets pitching coach, was in charge of the Orioles pitching and saw Burke and suggested a switch to drop down and see how that works sidearm for him. Well, it works quite well, as a matter of fact, because Burke was terrific in the Orioles camp last year. And Orioles, though, could not protect him. He was on the free agent market. Mets picked him up, liked him so much that they threw him right on their 40-man roster.
That's an unusual thing. That doesn't happen very often.
The Mets were afraid if they didn't that they would lose him in the Rule 5 draft, and they heard whispers there was a lot of interest in him.
I honestly don't think enough thought is put into when you put a bullpen together. You have a variety of pitchers is a strength. Guys that come from all different angles, throw different kind of breaking pitches. You know, everyone is kind of caught up, and I understand it, caught up in having 7 guys down there who can throw 95 with a razor blade slider. Well, today's hitter, if they see enough of that, they're going to make that adjustment. But if you have a left-handed specialist then backed up by Burke, who's throwing submarine, and then by a hard thrower, makes it much more difficult.
Jamie Hoffman in left field for Lucas Duda, puts it away 2-0. Keith, how much does that affect you, the hitter, when you get a look like this and a sidearm can come in and change things up?
Well, if it's a lefty, it's not easy. I can tell you that. If it's a right-hander, you know they're basically a sinker ball pitchers when they're submariners. So as a hitter, Kevin, what I always had to do when I faced a submariner is you want to tend, because it's a down under a release of the ball, you want to get more crouched and tilt your head. Your eyes get tilted. You really got to make sure. I used to stand a little more upright from my waist up, and I made sure that my eyes were parallel to the ground. And then I didn't have an issue. I always move up in the plate, get closer to the plate, because they don't like to throw. It's a right-hander now. They don't like to throw in. They're going to throw that sinker away. Now, a lefty, you're in a world of trouble. It's tough when you got a submariner that runs that sinker in on your hands and has that Laredo breaking ball, which kind of is like an off-speed slider and a big sweeper. I'm trying to think of the left-hander that was so good. Ramon Hernandez, was that the one with the Pirates and the Cubs running back in the 70s? That's probably before your time.
Yeah, just before. I'm trying to think of the right-handers you might have faced. Quisenberry, Gene Garber.
Tekulve,
yeah.
Tekulve, I had success against. Garber gave me trouble.
He used to throw a dead fish up there, right?
Garber would turn his back on you. So I used to get up in front of the plate on Garber and get right on top of the plate, and Garber would throw me the sinker inside. And I was 4-3 on your scorebook because he threw it inside and he got underneath my bat. And I was just waiting for him to make a mistake. I was so stubborn, and I stayed with it, and he never made a mistake. And I kept on 4-3, make a right-hand turn in the dugout.
You look at Burke. I mean, this is the turnaround that he had. Okay, I mean, his WHIP in 2011 in AAA was 1.7. So when he got turned around in the Orioles system last year, his WHIP was 0.9. And just outstanding. What a difference.
For you folks at home, of course, the WHIP is walks plus hits per innings pitched. So that lower that number is to 1, the better off you are. More base runners, more runs going to give up eventually.
The best submariner I faced from the right side that I couldn't pick up, and I saw him in spring training, was Dan Quisenberry with the Royals. He threw hard, too. But he was almost like a shovel pass.
Well, Greg Burke continues to impress. Another 1-2-3 inning for him, making a case to make the team port of call. Subscribe to MLB.TV Premium today. Watch over 150 select spring training games live. Keith, you can go back and watch this one over and over if you'd like. Plus, every regular season game live or on demand, over 250 mobile and connected devices. Visit Mets.com for all the details. New pitcher for the Cardinals, Michael Blazek, is in. He will face Anthony Recker, who has his first at-bat tonight.
Blazek, who has made starts and pitched out of the bullpen in the minor leagues, close to 500 innings in the minor leagues for the young right-hander.
23 years old, drops a strike in to Recker, who was one of the backups with the A's last year, so his numbers in AAA. He and Landon Powell are vying for that backup catching spot behind John Buck. I mean, Travis d'Arnaud is the name you're, of course, hearing, but d'Arnaud's not going to make the opening day roster. d'Arnaud's going to go to Vegas in AAA and, all likelihood, probably work his way there this year if things go right for him.
It's always a battle in spring training for that backup catcher's job. Always.
1-2 to Recker here. Sorry, Ryan. Good shot, deep left. This one carrying as well, and that one is going to go. Well, that'll help the cause for Anthony Recker. His first home run of the spring. It's 9-3 Cardinals.
Almost sound like he got that off the end of the bat, but must not have.
Well, the wind has shifted today. Originally, like Ronnie said in the beginning of the game, it was blowing out to right. It's shifted to left.
Anything in the air to left field is going to be gone.
So the Mets have gotten home runs from their catchers today. John Buck hit a 2-run homer earlier, and now it's Recker. Who hit 1 home run last year. Split time with the A's and the Cubs, and that actually came with Chicago. First at bat for Colin Cowgill, placing Matt Den Decker in center. And he's quickly behind 0-2. And Johnson throws down to complete the strikeout for the first out. Did you guys see that our buddy Mike Pelfrey made his spring debut yesterday with the Twins? Not a terrific debut for Mike. 1 2/3, allowed 5 hits and 3 runs. But
Big Pelf.
Big Pelf. Best part about it is Ron Gardenhire goes out to take the ball, and Pelfrey doesn't give it to him immediately. And remember when he was with the Mets, Pelfrey, I think it was Jerry Manuel's thing, I'm not even sure. Baxter hits one on the screws, but it's right to center field. As Christian makes the catch. So anyway, Gardenhire goes out. Remember, Pelfrey would wait for the reliever to come in as a Met and hand the ball to the reliever. So Gardenhire goes out. Pelfrey doesn't immediately get rid of the ball, and Pelfrey says, "Do you want the ball?" And Gardenhire said, "Well, you're bigger than me. You let me know."
That sounds like a Gardy comment right there. He'll enjoy pitching for Minnesota Twins, pitching to Mauer. Rick Anderson is just an outstanding pitching coach for the Twins.
Pelfrey will healthy from the Tommy John and ready to start a season. This game's been going on that long.
There you go.
That long.
It's a great idea.
To grow a beard or to put a twist tie around it?
Put a twist tie around it. That's really good old-fashioned American ingenuity.
Or tired. Either one.
Good old-fashioned American ingenuity. Oh, you're going to love it. 3-0 to Quintanilla. With 2 down in the 7th. Anthony Recker's first spring home run. Getting the Mets a little closer. There's a strike. 92 on the gun from Blazek. Brandon Hicks on deck, waiting for his first at bat. And Quintanilla draws a walk. That'll bring up Brandon Hicks. See what he could do here with the Mets looking for some offense down by 6. Mets got Hicks from the A's for cash considerations. Big swing. Hicks does have some pop. He's had 18 home runs in the minor leagues each of the last 2 years. And he is vying for a backup infielder spot. You got Hicks here. You got Brian Bixler here. Omar Quintanilla. Justin Turner. Although I get the feeling Turner could make the team in addition to another one of those guys just because of his pinch hitting and late hitting abilities. We'll see.
You say we might check out Turner in the outfield a little bit? He's going to get some time out there?
Yeah, that was the plan. I don't think he's gotten it really yet. He came to camp with 6 gloves, anticipating that, but the breaking ball caught the corner. Hicks didn't really love it, but he will take a seat. Turner hasn't gotten the reps in the outfield just yet. Cardinals up 9-3 on the Mets through 7. Mets single game tickets for the 2013 season on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Get your tickets for Mets opening day, the Subway Series, and the rest of the All-Star season. Tickets start at $12 at Mets.com or by phone 718-507-TIXX. Second inning of work for Greg Burke. He'll face 8-9-1 in the Cardinal order. Daniel Descalso is first. Burke had a sharp 7th, retiring the Cardinals in order, and had a strikeout of Tony Cruz. I'm sure Terry Collins is watching to see how Burke does against lefties as well. See if he can go full innings. Man, it seems like the Cardinals are just hitting bullets all day long, doesn't it?
That was a heck of a play by Den. Den Decker just really knows what he's doing out there in center field. Kyle Gum, apologize. Both outstanding out there in center field. Sorry about that, Colin. But the ability to get there, take the right line, and then with the slide to keep it in front of him to keep Descalso at first base.
Number 38, Pete Wilson.
So Cowgill shows you the speed. And after the single by Descalso, Ryan Jackson comes in to pinch run. Descalso's day is done. Cosmo, the batter, could be 2. Quintanilla to start it. Flores to finish it. Not in time.
Ball not hit really hard. When he played it back on the long hop, Quintanilla, that took away the double play. You got to get to it. You can't take the back hop. You got to be able to go in and get the short hop when you got a guy that can run good to turn that double play. That's a routine ground ball. That double play has to be turned. You want to upset your start pitchers? You don't turn double plays like that. Get your manager mad too.
Obviously got you mad.
Got to turn it.
Justin Christian takes a strike. Well, it's an area where the Mets really lacked last year.
Truly, they did not turn a lot of double plays. They had a lot of opportunities over the year that I thought were routine ground balls and should have been double plays, and they did not to get it done.
Is it things like that, Keith? Is it taking an extra step in to cut off the short hop? What did you see last year as some of the reason for that, Keith?
Well, a lot of little extra motion in the throws from the guy who fielded the ground ball. Nothing wrong with the guys that are turning double plays. Remember, you had Murphy, who was at second base a lot last season, who early in the year, although he was doing fine, the base hit to left field right there. You know, Murph was learning the position, really not a second baseman. He got better as the season went on. But a lot of times in a double play, it's all, sometimes when you lose a double play, it's not what you see when the cameras finally get to the ground ball. It's that first step, your reaction, initial reaction when the ball's off the bat.
There's Murphy, and he is just about ready to come back from that intercostal strain. He says he thinks the next day or two he's going to start swinging the bat again. He's feeling much better. Had a shot and cortisone injection in that right side and has been resting a few days now. So maybe the next couple of days we will see him. Meanwhile, a test for Greg Burke as Terry Collins watches on. Gets in a little bit of a jam here. Facing another lefty batter. This is Adrian Chambers. It was tough to double up. He runs very well.
You know, Kev, not only is it watching Burke against the left-handed hitters, but also, you know, can he come out of the bullpen, get that 3 outs in the first inning, and come back, sit on the bench and come back for that second inning and be as effective.
That was Eric Fornataro warming for the Cards. Cool shot. And Ronnie, that's a good point too, because you look at this construction of this bullpen. There's so many ways that Terry Collins can go with it, and is he going to carry a long man? Is he going to carry a Jeremy Hefner type? And if not, and guys like Burke and whoever else are going to have to go from time to time. A couple of innings. The Mets are going to have some innings to fill. Terry has stressed time and time again. It's not even the 20 wins that R.A. Dickey provided. It's the 245 innings. Yeah. Burke's got 1 and 2 to Chambers, and he gets him. Foul tips caught by Recker, and Burke has his second strikeout. 2 down.
Well, everything's been down around the knees and just kind of surprised them with this ball let her high.
Shane Robinson popped a home run his first at bat of the game, subbing for Matt Holliday. Excuse me, a second. He walked his first time up. Scored a couple of runs. Cardinals 9-3 lead here in the 8th. Rain been kind of ominous all day. Drizzled for a little bit, but other than that, the rain is pretty much held off as Bender misses for Burke. Perfect temperature. How hard is it when you're you're a conventional pitcher and you're throwing overhand, you're throwing a breaking ball one way? How much does it change your grip and how you throw it when you drop down?
Well, that's the amazing part, that he took to it so quickly. Is that whether it's a knuckleball or trying to throw a submarine pitch after being a conventional pitcher, most difficult part is you're right, getting the grip, trying to get enough spin on the ball so it breaks. There's a conventional pitcher, you probably didn't live on the knees. He's living now on the ball on the knees and sinking. He probably went from a fly ball pitcher now to a complete ground ball pitcher. It's just amazing to me that he took to it so quickly.
2-1. And just missed. But do you still have to get your hand kind of on top of the ball? Is that possible when you're dropping down like that?
When you conventional pitcher, yes, you always want to be on top of the ball. What you want to be is at least on the side of the ball, not underneath the baseball. If you're on the side of it, then that's the breaking pitch that these submarine guys have. It starts in the inside corner and kind of breaks outside.
Robinson hits another one deep to left, and that's going to go off the wall. Shane Robinson showing you the pop. And that's going to get 2 runs in. The Cardinals just continue to mash. A 2-run double from Shane Robinson as Greg Burke is touched for his first runs. And it's 11-3 St. Louis.
Gets the sinker, stays in. A little bit up too much. It was mid-thigh.
I'll tell you one thing I'd take if I was watching this game and you're going to pitch against Shane Robinson this summer. You need to keep the ball middle away. Likes that ball inside.
So the Cardinals ready for opening day the way they're hitting. They have really hit the baseball today. 13 hits against Met pitching. Now it's Colton Wong, minor league second baseman for the Cards, up and comer, takes ball 1. Just tuned in, Zach Wheeler was supposed to start today. Had a strained strained oblique. He was in BP earlier before the game and said he didn't feel it on any particular swing, just got done and it felt tight, so the Mets are cautious. Wheeler did not seem even mildly disturbed, so if his mannerisms were an indication that hopefully it would just be a couple-day thing. Darren Gorski got the start. Gorski went 2 solid innings and then got in trouble in the third and ended up getting charged for 4 runs. As Carlos Torres couldn't get him out of a jam.
Waldo Pepper.
Wow, they'd be going to Vegas this year.
Oh. Good Lord.
Parnell warming up, saving his bullpen mates. Guy Conti with the big thank you. Guy Conti, he's been a fixture around here for a long time. You know what time Guy got here this morning? 4 a.m.
Did he?
He got here at 4 a.m.
The guy served years in the Dodgers organization.
In fact, I think he still keeps his home in Vero Beach.
He does.
And the Dodgers, of course, are gone. They're in Arizona now, which makes sense. Their fan base is in Los Angeles.
Well, it makes sense, but such tradition, right? At Vero Beach. And they had a big fan base there as far as spring training was concerned.
21st century run.
I got it.
Oh, goodness.
Colton Wong, deep right center field. And that's going to bounce in one hop over the wall. Colton Wong has himself a ground rule double. The Cardinals score again. Man, oh man, they are just crushing it today. That doesn't count if you caught it on a bounce, does it? It's on a bounce.
Ball in one hand, phone in the other. He's the only guy out there. Who else is going to get it? Oh, 2 hands. 2 hands, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. Might be a little old for the backpack, but whatever.
So Colton Wong with an RBI double, scoring Shane Robinson. Cardinals going to go for the 2-point conversion, up 12-3. Rob Johnson at bat now. So Greg Burke running into his first amount of trouble, and Ronnie, you said it. Terry wanting to see, hey, can you push back-to-back innings?
These guys giving up a couple of hits to the left-handed hitters. Those are the things that you didn't want to see over the course of the long run here, or the long spring training. I always say, if you're trying to make a team, you can have 1 bat outing. You can't have 2.
Yeah. Especially 2 in a row. Rob Johnson got a lot of work last year for his, or maybe even acclaim for his work with Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey gave him so many props for what his comfort level was in AAA, and really became good friends and really developed a trust in Rob Johnson. And Harvey, even now today, was really helped him along, just kind of learning the ropes in AAA. 1-2, and Burke gets him. So Johnson goes down on strikes, but Cardinals adding 3 more runs, up 12-3 on the Mets. Cardinals have hit the baseball hard all day long. Lead the Mets 12-3 as we're back at Tradition Field. And the Cards send out a new pitcher. Eric Fornataro will take his turn now as the Cards with a 9-run lead. Zach Lutz has the at-bat here. We talked earlier about Justin Turner getting some outfield opportunities. That really hasn't happened. The early thought was that Zach Lutz would also get some work in the outfield, just to try and give him opportunities to get some at bats. But right now, that's not happening. It's kind of hard to trying to get Lutz and get some power and give him a chance to hit. But the Mets have so many guys looking for as it is in the outfield. It's kind of hard to get him work at this current point.
Maybe when. It's such an extended spring training that you'll have some opportunities maybe when the minor leaguers are here and, minor league games or.
Sure, you can throw them over there and let them work there. Good work with Tommy Goodwin when he got to camp, just doing some extra work after the normal drills were done, getting out there, fielding fly balls, things like that. But he doesn't really have experience out there. And the Mets are just trying to find 3 outfielders to start on a regular basis. 2-1.
Did you ever play in the outfield?
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I played a little bit of left field for Whitey and right field. George Hendrick was a right fielder and just had a little tweak, and I played 2 games in Cincinnati out in right. And then I don't know what the heck happened that got me in left field.
Did you gotten anyone out at home? Or?
I didn't make any mistakes. I caught everything that came my way.
Did you play it on one hop? Is that why?
Well, let's just say, I made the play.
Okay.
What I learned was I was playing the Expos at Busch Stadium. And I went back on a line drive, fly ball, and I got to the wall, and it hit around 3/4 of the way up the wall, and I went to jump, but I was up against the cushion. I almost separated my shoulders.
Get me back in the infield.
So that was okay. It's a little, I didn't know that. I did display a nice arm.
Serious. I believe you.
I hit the cutoff mountain.
Well, that I would expect.
I robbed Gary of a double in the gap. Ranged over to my left beautifully and backhanded it. Gary Carter, that is. He was with the Expos.
There's a shot of the kid. Of course, baseball world tragically lost him last year. And guys, you can't look at this Cardinal uniform that we've been talking about all day and not think of what a tremendous loss that this organization, that the world of baseball, and quite frankly humanity lost in January with the passing of Stan the Man, Stan Musial, at age 92. The Hall of Famer who was in some ways indescribable for what he did on the field and certainly what he meant to the St. Louis community. You take a look at the media guide, the Sports Illustrated cover for Musial, who all he did was hit .331 lifetime, make 24 All-Star games, 3 World Series titles, 3 MVPs. The list goes on and on and on for Stan the Man.
Well, I was a Cardinal fan growing up, and he lost 1 year of service at the World War II in Pearl Harbor, and that's where my dad played on the Navy team with him, and that's how I got to know Stan. And he'd leave his tickets at Candlestick Park when I was a kid growing up, so that made me a Cardinal fan. What's interesting is, no one's achieved the Triple Crown in the National League since Joe Medwick back in the 30s. And in 1948, Stan Musial lost the Triple Crown by just 1 home run. And he hit a home run in a game during the season that got washed away because of a rainout. He would have been a Triple Crown winner. Just a great player, great hitter. What can you say? I got all these numbers in front of me, but I haven't got enough time. It's just what sticks out in my mind. All those games that Stan played, 0 career ejections. He's never was thrown out of a game.
Well, he was, the consummate, not only baseball, but America's gentleman. Last year, or almost 2 years ago now, won the National Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor any civilian can get in the United States. That's how much he was beloved. And Brooklyn had a small part to play. Bob Brogue, who wrote for the St. Louis Dispatch, is the one that's given the credit for calling him Stan the Man. But in Brooklyn, because he used to pepper that right field wall, they used to say, "Here comes that man again," to the plate.
Andrew Brown grounds into a double play. He signed with the Cardinals in 1938 for $65 a month. That was some of the best $65 the Cards ever spent.
Well, he got called up in 41 in September. His first at-bat debut was on September 17th in 41 against the Milwaukee Braves, Went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. His first hit was a double. And then, lo and behold, back in 61, he retired in 63. It's a ground ball here. I'll be brief. In his 10,000th at bat, he hit another double. He became the first player to have 10,000 at bats. Great player.
Unbelievable. What a terrific, terrific career for Stan Musial. Bobby Parnell on for the Mets when we come back. speeding along like the Cardinal offense today. Having some fun on the Intercoastal. That's next broadcast on SNY against the Tigers Friday. Verlander getting the start in that one. So that will be fun. You get to see Justin Verlander. For the Mets, it'll be Jonathan Neese getting the call for the next broadcast Friday at 1 o'clock. Here we're in the 9th, 12-3 Cardinals, and Bobby Parnell on to pitch.
You know, most of the time when you have a closer early in spring training, you'll use him earlier in the game. But this is twice now. Bobby Parnell was used on Saturday in the first game in the 9th and got the save, and here pitching in the 9th, kind of cleaning up.
A unique touch by Terry Collis. Fernando Salas warming up. I guess trying to get him the 9th inning mentality. Can you get that in a spring training game in February?
You know, I don't know if it's a mentality, Kevin, but maybe it's all about sitting in that bullpen for a couple of hours or more than that, 3 hours and almost 3 hours, and then being ready to go.
Adam Ehrlich is the batter against Parnell. So that's an interesting call. I mean, a lot of times as you said, you had the guy in earlier and you face better talents, quite honestly. But working on that issue with Bobby. His second spring appearance.
I think it's a good move early in spring training. Have him pitch in the 9th. Okay, maybe you don't have all the big hitters in there. Get him some confidence going, you know?
And that's high with the 1-2. Well, you know, Parnell really changed the second half last year when he started throwing that curveball for strikes. It elevated his game. I think it changed his confidence level to a degree. Ditched that slider in favor of the knuckle curve that Jason Isringhausen taught him. Izzy, now the pitching coach at Southern Illinois, I believe, hired him as the new pitching coach.
Is that where he went?
Yeah.
Did he go there?
Uh-huh. Double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's where it was.
So Izzy was worth his weight in gold.
Yeah, well,
by a little bit, something he imparted on one of his teammates.
And he performed pretty well, too.
And that's why you have veterans on the team. And you're a young player, you've got to be a sponge and listen and take it all in. Maybe you can incorporate someone's game into yours. And Parnell's an example right there.
3-2. And Parnell issues a walk. Well, those two sat next to each other in the clubhouse, and they would talk all the time. And Bobby gives a lot of credit to Isringhausen for not only showing him the pitch, but really kind of staying on him about how to throw it and using it to his advantage.
I think he also imparted a lot of knowledge on what it's like to be in the bullpen, how you have to brush off those tough days, all the things that Izzy went through. I was thinking, I thought that he went there. It was a great pitcher for the Blue Jays in the 70s and 80s. Dave Steve, he's a Southern Illinois guy.
Chance for Hicks, off the glove, everybody's safe.
Well, this is another routine double play here. A little bit of an up hop. Got to make that play. Stabbed at it. You can see how he... The old stab is not going to work.
So the Cardinals have a couple base runners after the walk and then the error by Hicks. I'll bring up Ryan Jackson now as Parnell being tested. It is, by the way, Southern Illinois for Jason Isringhausen. You know, and you always talk about that triumvirate they came up with, Paul Wilson and Bill Pulsifer and Jason Isringhausen. And, you know, Met fans remember that time, and it just didn't pan out. Boy, Isringhausen had a great career.
Yeah.
He really did.
Keith, were you doing games when those guys first started?
I was around. I can't remember exactly when I started. But I remember being in spring training one year and seeing them. There you go.
There's a chance for Hicks. He'll throw it a second. They got to get him in the rundown. He was safe, and they will do that. Quintanilla covering. Shaky couple plays on the left side for Hicks, but the Mets do get the lead runner there.
Well, Taylor made double play, and Hicks is having a tough time in the field today.
fielder's choice by Jackson as Quintanilla applies the tag.
5-4-6 in the scorecard.
Third baseman, Pete Kosma.
Now the shortstop, Pete Kosma, who scored 3 runs today in this Cardinal 14-hit attack. Parnell trying to have a scoreless second outing of the spring. Got some work to do. It's blocked in the dirt by a record. Jason Isringhausen finished his career on the nose with 300 saves, an ERA of 3.64 in 16 major league years.
When he came up, he just came up in a whirlwind. Isringhausen. I think he was 9-2, wasn't he, in his first year?
He was.
As a starting pitcher, of course.
That's another case where he was traded and moved on, and a pitching coach or coaching staff realized that he might be better served in the bullpen, and there you go. Had a nice career.
It was his first year at 9-2, and then his next full year, 6-14, with an ERA approaching 5.
Well, those teams, the Mets, really struggled, didn't they? 92 and 93. 93, I think, was the team. What was the book that they wrote about that team?
The worst team, Money Combined? Money Combined.
Something like that, right? Oh, well.
There was a lot of disappointments, major disappointments with some of the personnel on that team that was acquired. Al Harrison was the GM.
Was he?
I think so.
1-2 from Parnell. Another chance for Hicks. See if he can turn this one. Flores will help him out, and the inning is over. The Mets get the third double play turn. Their last chance to hit. We come back. Wilmer Flores leads off the bottom of the ninth for the Mets. They trailed the Cardinals 12-3. And Flores has had a good start to this camp. He had a home run in the inter-squad game. He had a home run the other day against Michigan, facing Fernando Salas.
He's had an interesting young career with the Cardinals. He was their closer a couple of seasons ago and then lost that job, and now going to try to fight to be one of the setup man for Mike Matheny's Cardinals.
You know, Flores is quite the interesting guy. I mean, you look at what he did last year. This guy can hit, and it sounds like and it feels like he's been around forever. it's because the Mets signed him when he's 16, and we've heard his name, but he's really matured, and he's learned how to hit, and he's gotten some power, and they're trying to find a position for him. You know, and the word was that, you know, slow feet, don't know if he can handle second base. I don't think that he's going to be, you know, a track star of any kind, but what we have seen after that hefty cut, you know, at least Ronnie the first couple games, it looks like he can handle himself out there. I mean, you know, range, you get a question, but, you know, certainly turning the double play, no issue at all.
Yeah, I think he's been solid in that way. It's interesting, though, you know, signed as a shortstop when he was 16 years old, but he's, you know, blossomed into a guy who's 6'3", 6'4". Kind of a bigger body for a middle infielder.
6'4" second baseman. So it would appear that they're going to play him at second quite a bit this year. I mean, there is some question about would the Mets try him in the outfield just because of their lack of depth there, but they have no interest in doing that to him. They don't want to take away from his offense. Payoff, and Flores gets jammed. And there's one away. New York Mets baseball on SNY brought to you by Citi. Citi cardholders have exclusive access to buy Mets single game tickets at Mets.com/Citi presale tonight until midnight. By Budweiser and by Delta. Here's Anthony Recker, who hit a home run his first at-bat of this game. Only Mets offense have been home runs from their catchers. John Buck had a 2-run home run earlier, and Recker with a solo shot his last time up, and he takes a strike from Salas. Just one more on Flores. You know, it's even more intriguing just because of the Mets. You know, I think everyone would agree they have a lot of young, talented arms in their system, whether they're close or whether they're not close. But position players are a little different. They have a lot of position players who aren't close. And so when you look at Den Decker and Flores, guys that, you know, can make an impact soon if they go down to the minor leagues and pan out, it's certainly something to watch for this team, whether they're going to be here or whether they're going to be trade bait.
The natives are restless. Jeez. Someone was able to get one more in before the 7th inning stretch. Oh, well.
Big cut by Recker. Down on strikes. So the Mets are down to their final at bat with Colin Cowgill. Tonight on Geico Sports Night, the Knicks host Stephen Curry and the Warriors. Warriors were fighting last night in Indiana, so that might be feisty. Jets are shopping Revis. That story is sickening already. And then panic with the Rangers, who've lost 4 in a row. What's going on with your New York Rangers?
It's a tough season, you know, rushing everyone back. And some teams have gotten off an amazing start, like the Chicago Blackhawks, who haven't lost yet.
That's amazing.
And others trying to find their way.
Blackhawks have played 19 games and haven't lost. What are they, 16-0-3, right? It's pretty hard to believe. Colin Cowgill in an 0-2 hole rather quickly. Tied. Cowgill high and deep to left field. And gone. Colin Cowgill showing you the pot. Mets' third home run of the game, and it's 12-4 St. Louis. The more you see him, the more you like him.
Well, you know what? It's a 12-3 ball game. When he hits that home run, he's trying to impress. High fastball. Boy, he gets on top of that. Got under it a bit, but he's smoked it.
Also tells you that no give up And they're giving up with a not bat in a 12-3 game too, huh, Keith?
Yep, agreed.
He really does have pop. You know, you look at his frame, you don't really expect it, but he's got some giddy up there. As Reese Havens now takes a big cut and a miss.
Well, that's really the kind of history of his professional careers. He's a guy that used to hit third and fourth in the lineups, had some pop, drove in runs, and then they wanted to use his kind of ability to run the bases up in the cleanup spot. And I think he's been fighting back and forth on what kind of hitter he is. But good showing here early in camp for Colin Cowgill.
He's done a lot of things very, very well. Trying to win a starting job. Two and one to Reese Havens with 2 down in the ninth. Big cut and a miss down to his final strike. Mets are in Vieira to take on the Nationals tomorrow night. Game is not televised, but if you're down here in Florida, you might want to make the drive. Rafael Montero, who scouts Mets people have raved about, will be on the hill for the Mets against Strasburg. 2-2 and strike 3 call. That will do it here from Tradition Field in Port St. Lucie. Cardinals get the 12-4 victory over the Mets this afternoon.
You know, Kevin, I think the story of the game for me is how much time is young Mr. Wheeler going to miss in spring training with that side injury?
Well, it's certainly a concern, and it's a lot of spring left, so he's got plenty of time to heal. But, you know, looking forward to see him pitch, and he was going to get a lot of opportunity to start and show what he's got. That's been put on hold.
Yeah. Well, the Mets didn't get much pitching today. The Cardinals' bats were alive and well. 14-hit attack. Mets getting all the runs on the long ball. John Buck, Anthony Recker, and Colin Cowgill with the home runs, but the Cardinal bats just too much. Lynn with the win. Gorski with the loss. Next game on SNY Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Gary's back for that one. Verlander and the Tigers here in Port St. Lucie take on Nice and the Mets. Thanks to everyone watching. For my partners Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling, I'm Kevin Burkhardt. We'll see you on Friday. Cardinals beat the Mets this afternoon. So long, everyone.